Hi Diego. Hi Diego, how are you? Um, I'd spend almost an hour writing feedback on your document using the Google Doc, and at the end, it didn't save anything at all. So you can imagine that's the reason why I'm recording this video. I'm not gonna use Google anymore. Please, let's use your the Dropbox portfolio because it's crazy. That's the reason why sometimes I don't like to use Google Docs. It's not trustworthy. So once I finish, I'll check this video, and this is the version that is in Moodle. I put it in our folder. I'll show you. It's in our folder in Moodle. In Dropbox. I don't know. I sent the invitation, so please let's use that one. I don't want to use anything else. Really, it's been a waste of time. So let's I think this is gonna be easier for us. So this is your folder. There is a folder called file not document. So let's work on this one, okay? Anyways, I wanna say please check it. Now, first of all, now if you don't have access to the folder, which I remember I sent an invitation, let me know so I can send the invitation again. Now, number one, let's check the document. I think so. Okay, now we are like trying to organize a document. This one you don't have to put it here. Abstract. This is in capitalized. We work on that later. Right, the presentation. Okay. Something that I noticed in this introduction. First of all, I will need you to double check the paragraphs. I like. Okay. First of all, I like that you're trying to give us like a look of what your problem was and what you wanted to do search about, but the research problem is not really well stated. You need to state the research problem. State the research problem. This means what is it that you want to know. So I know that you said you want to help improve all accuracy from known formal public undergraduate programs. Yes, but you have to say, first you need to bring the discussion about task-based approach. The way teachers English is taught. The discussion or like the way English is taught at SENA and in general in Colombia, but you can focus at SENA before or now, and then bring the issue of the task-based and the discussion around the use of this approach, and then state the research problem. Stating the research problem means, okay, so based on this, we want to know. In this study, we want to find out the effects that applying task-based has. So that's what you need to develop. I uploaded in Edmodo a PDF giving ideas of how to state the research problem, so check it out. I uploaded for third semester, but I think it'll be useful for you. Yeah, because the problem is not stated. You talk about low problem. You've been contextualizing about the low socioeconomic strata, which is okay, and I think that's giving us like somehow what we need to focus on. But I need you to focus exactly on the discussion that you bring in, which is stats-based, and state the research problem, and say that you want to use stats-based, apply stats-based as a strategy to enhance their auto production, since the way they've been learning English probably has been problematic. Yes, so that's something you need to state clear here as this research problem, which is you can do it in the introduction. Check the PDF, the tutorial that I uploaded in Edmodo, which is about research problem. That will give you a good idea. In the document that in April 10th, I already sent you an email. I sent an email with these changes. I think you didn't get to see those changes because you uploaded in Google Docs the old one that you have. This is a proposal. Check it out, see what you think. I tried to write the objectives, take into account what we had before, and the purpose of action research. In terms of literature review, we're going to complete it with the theoretical framework. Theoretical framework. Because I think you actually did well. Framework. You did pretty well in stating like the basic concepts, and I think is well done. Double check you have problems some APA. There's some issues with APA, so in order to make sure that you're following APA correctly, in our share folder, uh, I have we're sharing this one that is called Toolkit for any researcher in this APA. I'm concerned. Do you have access to this folder? Because I'm not sure if you do, because I mean this is like the key folder to get all the information that we'll be using, and I'm not sure if you're really using it. So please go to it and use it. And now, but in general terms, I like the fact that you present the concepts, which is great. I think I like it. And just double check the writing. Still, I see long sentences that make it difficult to really understand sometimes. So have someone to proofread your text after you write it. That's some people, when they read our text, they help us like organize our ideas and understand better. Okay, just a proofreader. App is okay here. I think in general, where you've been using APA consistently, but there are some issues around that you need to improve. This is okay, no problem. The way you define, task-based learning teaching, perfect. Noonan is the guy that we use for it. I'm not sure about this. I could tell that in the okay, well, before continuing, let me see. Yes, no problem. Alice. Okay, very good. Up here. Something that I noticed is that okay, you make all this. You make a definition of these terms, which is okay. I think I like this part where you give us the definitions. Here in Speech Act, to all English Oxford, using a dictionary to have the definition of this is not like really academic. You go to Austin. You study Austin with Tito. So go to one of his texts because he's the one who actually gives a great definition about Speech Act. And so cite Austin, don't cite any like dictionary, okay? APA, there's an issue here with APA. Double check, please. Good. But I like that you are really writing those definitions. I think we have that done. I'm very satisfied with what I can tell. Just double check writing. Motivation is not necessary. I think this is not a concept that you should be writing down here. Why? Because if you get into the motivation issue, that means that that's something you're going to measure in your study, and you're not doing that. Because that means that you have to apply certain tests and before, after to check motivation, and no. So forget about motivation. That's not our issue over here. That's not our purpose. Of course, in the study, when students give you like their feedback, it can come out that they feel motivated, but that's not what we're looking for in terms of the research. I like the fact that you brought some studies related to it. And the only thing that I would like to add, which is the same thing Maria Fernanda noticed, was that there's a point in which if these authors over here, they found that this worked, what is necessary for us to really carry on this research? So here you have the answers. I think that's what you answered to Maria Fernanda. So put it in your text. Write it down here. Okay, put it here. I could tell there were some things Maria Fernanda suggested in December and that you actually didn't change. So, that the feedback that Maria Fernanda gave you was a feedback that we worked together because we discussed about your text. So just try to keep in mind those suggestions and add it. Okay, okay, yeah, very good. I think the methodology here is clear in this part. You have to write it down in past. The whole thing from now on, methodology on, has to be written in past because we're reporting what you did, not what you're doing. Here, I like the fact that you frame the model of the cycles and so forth, the context. Then the instruments, no problem. I like it. Now the procedure in this case, in terms of plan, there's something that you're missing. I want you to go and check the this guy's document about planning. Planning goes beyond just saying that, okay, we identify students' needs and performance, which is great, but there's a lot of like reflective part on it, like where you stand. I mean, the gaps in your teaching. What is the teaching philosophy you have been following in your teaching process, and how does affect the way you plan, and how does affect your interest in what you want to do in this research. Just double check this chapter. Based on that, just add more information. It's actually, which has a lot to do with reflection and why you're choosing this and how that affect the planning, the whole thing that you have. Having said that, you need to include in the planning process, you can send the reader to at the end of the document to one index or annex or annexo, where you show the themes that you've planned, the whole lesson and so forth. So that'll help the reader actually see what you organize based on the reflection, the things that you've written so far. I think the rest is you explaining what is how you're doing it. Here you need to send people to the index or annexed, where you have information related to what was the resources and the things that you use to act. So in that case, let's work on that a little bit more. You can, as I said, read this guy's book, and you can add a little bit more information, because it's taking into account that what does ACT imply. I mean, there are interesting things in that book that will help you to really cover this more. But on the other hand, I mean, observe the reflection is clear. Here, I think there's no problem. I think you need, I mean, probably the way the subtitles are organized, it makes it a little bit confusing, because people will say, what are the steps? So just make the big steps big, like capitalized, and the other ones small. So the big ones, capitalize them. The rest one, small. Because it's kind of confusing sometimes. It will be confusing for the reader. And there's something here I need to talk about. In the cycle 2, I mean, from this reflection to cycle 2, don't forget plan. You have to plan again. So what does the plan at this moment implies based on the previous experience and the reflection? How does this affect the planning? How did it affect planning? And that's key here. I mean, so in this case, planning, as a result of a reflection in the planning process, these will be included in order to make sure that, as before beginning the cycle, this has been covered. So take into account that you have in a paragraph, what is that you took into account in the planning again, and everything that is here has to be written in past. This is not the project. These are the results. I mean, the whole project after you finished. So everything you have here has to be written in past. All of it in past, in past, in past. I like this. Very good. The evaluation, the reflection. I think you need to go a little bit more. What does reflection mean? What are how do you carry out reflection? You mention it, but it's not really in a detail. So I think in general terms, to go again to this document and make sure that you take into account the main ideas of this author. You having it. I think that you're doing it. It's just there's some key questions here that you can use in order to include in that process that thing. In fact, you can tell that in the planning there's some questions that you may ask to yourself. So there's some questions that are related to what you're doing. So double check and include that. I think that's kind of missing. Check the document. But I think it's okay. It's just to add more information. We don't need this, because this is already presented. So in general terms, I think you have the idea. I think the document's clear.